Okay, so this next question is kind of AJ inspired because I kind of want to know like this question is kind of like for both of you. I think it's pretty cool, but like how do you sort of manage the larger scale projects considering the fact that you have ADHD and stuff like how do like what like
I
what
was
is that? Yeah, because you were telling
I was
me
bringing it up. I was
mhm.
like cleaning it. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, can we bring this up?
Yeah.
Let's
And
bring this up.
I think it's actually a very fantastic question because you've obviously worked on some larger scale like
Yeah.
and we'll definitely get to that stuff later on. But like what do you feel like sort of the experience has been, balancing the ADHD with like working on content like staying because with content you obviously have to be pretty consistent with the work schedule. So like what's your experience with that?
Well, I too am super interested in what AJ says about this because I think everyone will, I mean, whether or not you have some kind of attention deficit restriction, I think you all have your different methods and your different techniques and tactics on how you crank out content for free, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for me, the thing that I start with is I envision a future where the thing that I want to make exists.
Okay.
Right? Like maybe one day you're sitting there and you're like for example with the Sonic video, I was like, dude, what if there's like a version of the Sonic Brawl reveal, but it's like it was like Melee's version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would be so cool. And then, I would just keep thinking about it like, well, if it was made today, I could share it.
Yeah.
But it's not made today. I need to work on it or else it's not going to be made. And then you kind of psych yourself into making it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, at least speaking for myself, then you kind of go into like hyperfixation mode. And you're like, that's flow state. I know we've talked about this too, AJ, where like, and people that don't have the hyperfixation stuff can get into flow state. It's basically if you're working on something that you're so into and you love so much, that time completely melts.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's been 2 minutes, and you look at the clock, 5 hours.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It literally feels like that, and anyone can get there. And I think one way to do that is like envision a future where it exists. And I know for some people too, they're motivated by creating things for other people. So if you think, okay, here's a future where this exists, how cool and how great this is, and think of all the people that are going to experience it and appreciate it and like it.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love hearing.
So that's what really motivates me.
Okay.
And as everyone knows, motivation is so fickle, you can't really control it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
you have to try to trick yourself and do little things to make yourself as less reliant on motivation as possible. And ironically, that helps you harness motivation the most when it comes in.
Dang.
Whoa. You see, that was just.
Damn,
I mean, honestly, just end the podcast right there, dude. That was beautiful.
I'm sucking up game right now.
Yeah, I know.
Like I'm like, oh, okay.
I don't have ADHD, and I'm like, yeah, he's spitting right now.
As he's talking about it, I'm like envisioning, like I'm seeing the sky. And
right, I know. I'm like, oh,
flying in the
man.
air. Like
I can do anything.
you just see me floating in the background.
I can do anything.
Well, no,
it's working, man.
I love
AJ's
that.
gonna have like 27 scratch tracks in next week.
See, yeah, I'm the opposite. Just like I don't know. Like I struggle with that. Like I have these crazy ideas. I'm like, I don't know. It feels like the way I see it is like I feel like Charizard and like Pokemon. You know how he's just big and just sits there. But like if he does something, it's crazy. It's like, oh yeah, dude. And I'm like, hey.
Yeah. You gotta muster all your energy for that one big push.
I need to learn. I need to take your note on that. That's I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah, I think that's very applicable too, as well to people. Not just everyone, not just people who have ADHD. You know what I mean? Because obviously, like I'm trying to get more consistent with the content stuff as well. Like I'm super into Fire Emblem and stuff like that, and I've been sort of making little videos here and there about that kind of thing. And I think it gets into like it's interesting what you said too about envisioning a future where it's made, and then you say like some people sort of make content for other people. I think it brings an interesting sort of topic of like the purpose of content creator, like what are you doing it for kind of thing. And I think when you can zone in on that, I think you definitely got something. Because like for me, it's like I just want to make this cool thing, and like if people come, cool. If not, like hey, I made this thing that I'm proud of, and like I'm happy, and like that's okay. Yeah. So definitely, I think knowing what your goals are can definitely sort of help you with that, like keep you centered on that.
Yeah, whatever motivates you. I like some people will say like absolutely no one could get benefit out of this, but at the end of the day, I can put this on my resume I can stack this up in my portfolio and look back on this and say, like with my What If series, they're super short videos, but I can always watch and be like, I like this.
Yeah.
I got entertainment out of this,
Okay,
right? And
yeah.
so that can be your motivation too.
Yeah. And same, by the way, your What If videos are super dope. I
Yeah,
I just watched the Sonic one yesterday. Actually,
Thanks.
it's crazy when you started talking about that. I was like, oh, I just watched that one.